Hello, good morning, and welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomas Garza. Well, and it's morning here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 9:02. And wherever you're joining me from, I want to welcome you. I know that people have tuned in and are likely tuning in right now from all over the world. So, isn't it wonderful that we have a global community here on Enlightened World Network to go deep with spirituality, to go deep with the study and practice of our own essence, of our own spirituality. And I really thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for your likes, comments. I love the comments and questions in the comment thread. So whether you're catching this live or on the replay, thank you for that. All the hearts and the shares are wonderful. So thank you so much for all of that. Now, yesterday, we spent some time here answering we spent some time answering the question, how does one choose love? And it's a really good question because, as we know, we have a choice moment to moment in the present moment being the only moment that there is. We have an opportunity every moment of every day to choose love or fear. We have an opportunity to choose God or the ego. We have an opportunity to choose our higher self, our limitless self, or our tiny little self with a lowercase s that is limited and full of fear and limiting beliefs. That's the difference. That's the opportunity we have to make the choice. And a couple of days ago, one of you asked the question, okay, well, how does one, in fact, choose love? So I spent some time on this yesterday, and I would invite you, if you missed yesterday's live, to go back. There are several different principles that I talked about that I think will be really, really helpful for you. And that's yesterday's live stream, which, by the way, you can catch on Enlightened World Network's YouTube channel. There's a playlist for every show on the network, and those are updated every day. So that will be there. And I spent about 10 to 12 minutes on that yesterday on the live. So it's worth a second look. And let me just be a little bit more succinct and practical with today's answer to that question. And that is, how does one choose love? Well, we all know what love is. In other words, we know deep down, no matter how messed up we may be in the moment, how angry, how sad, how depressed, frustrated, anxious, no matter what state we find ourselves in, we all know what's loving and what's not loving. We can just tell. It's like we can distinguish what's beautiful and what's not. Now, there's some subjectivity that enters into that, especially if we're talking music or art or literature or something that appeals to one person and not another. But deep down, if we see something and experience something beautiful, we gut level know what that is, what it feels like, what it looks like. It's a discriminating awareness, a discriminating wisdom that we all have. And how can I say that we recognize love when we're in the presence of it? It's who we are. That's how I can say with 100% certainty that we recognize love. Love recognizes only itself. This is who we are. So we can recognize it. We're fully capable of recognizing that no matter what state we may find ourselves in at present, no matter how deep you are in paying bills, no matter how many emails you're sifting through today, no matter how many appointments you have today, no matter what kind of sonic dissonance and discord is going on around you. Maybe the dog's barking, maybe you've got kids that are screaming, the phone ringing, right? We all can recognize our own true nature. You've chosen it just by being here, which should be exciting, right? You know how to choose love. You're watching this. So that should tell you quite a lot right there. Now, if you find yourself wanting more, then we all know what love looks like in a certain situation. If we walk down the street and we smile at people, that's a loving act. Yeah. We all know. So, how can you do that? Well, you can walk down the street smiling. You can appreciate the birds, the trees. Yeah, it's springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, there are a lot of flowers that are blooming. Depending on where you are, there might be sunlight, green fields. Maybe you're taking a walk on the beach and you can appreciate the sand and the ocean and the waves. Giving thanks for that and appreciating the beauty of that is choosing love. Being kind to someone is choosing love. There are many, many, many ways that we can do this every day, every moment of every day. And we know what that looks like. So we have only to do it. Yeah. We have only to be love in action. This is who we really are. So, how do you do that? Well, there are millions of ways. I mean, you can do it right now by giving yourself a break and maybe taking a couple minutes to meditate or breathe deeply. Or maybe you put your phone down if it's plaguing you. That could be choosing love, to give yourself a 5-minute break. It's an option, but there are many, many different ways. And just as we can find different ways to distract ourselves, we can find ways to reconnect with ourselves. It's the same mind, we're the same essence that gets carried away in drama. That's the same mind that can choose to be drama free. And we make that choice right now. We make it right now. So that's, again, choosing love. So, question for you: how are you going to choose love today? So, feel free to type that in the comments. And in a couple minutes, I'm going to take a look at those and we'll talk about it. And this is great if you're catching this on the replay. Definitely drop in the comments, how are you choosing love today? I'd love to know that. I'd love to hear that, because there's no wrong answer for that. And as we've just seen by even just a couple of these examples, there are millions and millions of different ways to do just that. Yeah. And to experience the benefits of that. So, how are you choosing love today? What does that look like for you? I'd love to know that. So let's go into today's idea for the workbook. And we're still in this period of review here on lesson 88. So what we're specifically reviewing, the ideas are lesson 75 and 76 today. And as you might imagine, they're very powerful. The ideas themselves are very straightforward, as they almost always are here, aren't they, in the workbook? Short idea with few words and a whole lot of meaning. Yeah, beautiful, profound meaning. So, lesson 75, the light has come. The light has come. What does this mean? Who we are has always been there. Love, who we are, right? True happiness, true freedom, who we are. We'll talk more about that in a minute. That has always been there. It has always been and has never changed, despite all of our wild variances, despite our trips into frustration, lifetimes of angst, sorrow. Who we are has remained completely unchanged, unaffected by our drama, and honestly, ultimately, unable to even recognize all of the BS that we put ourselves through as human beings. We've created that. We can leave that aside. The light has come. It has never gone anywhere, and it is who we are. Lesson 76. I'm under no laws but God's. This is an idea that's very, very powerful. Why? Because we put ourselves at the disposal of all kinds of stuff in the world. Now, you probably know where I'm going with stuff. Yeah. Insert another word for stuff that does, in fact, begin with the letter S. And we put ourselves under loads of that, heaping loads of that in the world. When you think about it, it's true. I mean, is it laughable? Yeah, actually, yes. In the right sort of mindset, yeah. And it's also sad. And it is our reality here in the world. Now, I should say apparent reality, because it's not who we are. This should be exciting and wonderful and liberating. When I first digested this particular idea, I remember feeling liberated and as though a tremendous burden, that's a psychological, emotional burden, were lifted right off my shoulders. Right off. I'm gone, like turning on a light in a dark room. The darkness was gone. And never was there really in the first place. But it was, I made it real for myself, as we all do as human beings. We can make it go away. Now, it's not spiritual bypassing to say that. We have to actually do the work. Yeah, you have to go in and look at and uncover all of this. So we can't hide from anything. That, in fact, is what we've been doing lifetime after lifetime, is attempting to run away and hide. Everything that we label as negative is not, in fact, negative. It is simply an experience that's coming up for release. Therefore, it's a gift. And it is absolutely a great attitude to have, to see it as that, as a gift coming up for release. So we don't get to short circuit anything. Spirituality is not about having a beautiful material earth existence only. I had nothing against a new car. We just bought one this weekend, and it's really cool. Yeah, nothing against new clothing or a new job, a new career, a new romantic partner. Nothing against any of that. It's not where happiness lies. Happiness is internal. A true happiness is who we really are, and that is completely independent of anything external. That includes the physical body, by the way. It's completely independent of anything external. We are under no laws but God's. Now, what do? Well, we complicate everything in the world, don't we? We are under the dictate of governments. We have complicated legal codes. I'm in the United States. So we've got many multifaceted, complex legal codes. In fact, I've been to law school in a former career life in this lifetime, just a few decades ago. I actually went to school for that and studied all of this. It's deeply complicated and multifaceted, only it's really not complicated in the end because we can leave it aside. What has happened with laws, with governments, with politics, with everything, is we've agreed that these are the rules we're going to live by. Now, from a spiritual standpoint, you can simply withdraw your agreement. Now, this is not advocating for anything political at all. It's not advocating for any kind of social solutions or lack thereof, and nor am I advocating that anyone withdraw from participation in the world. Why do I say that? Well, because We're here to communicate with each other, and we're here to bring the light. You are here to bring the light. You're watching this. So, any doubts about that? Any doubts that you are here to bring the light? If you have them, that's all right. But I would hope that you don't hang on to those. Let those go. There's a reason you're watching this. There's a reason you're interested in A Course in Miracles. There's a reason, if you've done this before, that you've come back to it. Now, if you've started the workbook and left off at a certain point, there's a reason why you're back. It's common enough, right? It's common enough because this invites us to do the work. Yeah, but it's also very beautiful work. And again, to the extent that you're able in your own life to see everything that is commonly labeled negative or disruptive as a gift and a blessing indeed, because it's something that's coming up for release. If you're able to have that mindset, then it is much easier, of course, to release that. And a tranquil mind is not a small gift. That is something that A Course in Miracles tells us in many places throughout, and it's one of the most quoted lines in the entire course. And it's true. When you think about it, it's true. A tranquil mind is not a small gift. In fact, it's huge. How do you achieve that? Well, choose love. Yeah, choose forgiveness. When things come up for release, release them. Release them. Now, the workbook in A Course in Miracles is one way that we can have this practical experience. This is one of the things that I love about this, is it's not asking us to believe this. You don't have to believe that you are under no laws but God's. What laws are those? Laws of love and true freedom, which, as we've seen, is not dependent on anything external. True freedom is you, your essence, you, who you are, without any of the baggage or the social conditioning, any of the preconceived notions that we have about ourselves. That's where we're all headed. It's where we're all headed. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to realize. And you may have realized this in one way or another at one time or another. And if you have, that's a wonderful thing. You're absolutely in the right place watching this live stream. And you'll know that we need to remain vigilant and alert, because our habitual tendencies can very, very easily creep back into the fray, can't they? So we're under no laws but God's, and the light has come. In fact, it's always been here. It's always been here. All right. So I hope that these profound ideas make a big impact in your life. And if you've been going through this workbook with me, then we're reviewing them. And I love the way the workbook brings these ideas that we've previously covered into a more concise light. It summarizes the text and the explanation of the ideas. And if you do nothing more than just entertain these, even for a split second, doesn't matter if you actually believe it or not, if you're willing to set aside your judgment and preconceived notions for just a minute, even just a fraction of a second, that allows that light to rush in instantly, and automatically, by the way. There's really nothing you have to do. If you set your judgments aside, light fills the gap itself automatically. And it's a beautiful thing. All right. So one of my favorite parts, of course, is the live interaction. And a few minutes ago, I was curious and posed the question, how are you choosing love today? Now, if you have answers to that, or comments or questions about today's ideas in A Course in Miracles in the workbook, then definitely please let me know. And we've got a couple of people that are on here joining us today. Hello, how are you guys? And yeah, how are you choosing love today? That's really what a, is, the question is. And there are so many ways. There's so many ways to do that. And when you hear a spiritual teacher, any spiritual teacher, say that again and again, it's not just repeating something that sounds good, that's abstract and, is a good soundbite. It's real life advice because the benefits of that are astronomical, aren't they? I mean, I'm certain that you've probably experienced some of this in your lifetime. And if you have not, and I think you have, when you do, it's really tremendous. It is a very, very beautiful thing here. So I'm going to bring these comments up one more time. And I really thank all of you for tuning in. This is so much fun to share my experience with the course with you. It has utterly transformed my own life and many of yours as well. And a reminder that if you have a different spiritual practice, these ideas can be used to augment your current tradition. They can be used to enhance and deepen your current understanding and therefore strengthen your own walk, whatever that looks like for you. So it is absolutely universal. Everything that we're doing here in the workbook is applicable to anyone's spiritual practice anywhere in the world, no matter what tradition you currently practice. All right. So thank you, all of you, for joining me here today, and I will see you again tomorrow. This live stream is daily, and have a great day.